Okay, we're going to begin. Good morning to everyone. My name is Elisa Blanda, and today we're going to be presenting information about the 18th request for proposals for the Small Grants Program in Marfund. So today we're going to talk a little bit about, until 10:30 Central American Time, about the guidelines of the proposal and the project management system. We have some basic rules. You have seen that we have put your microphones in off. If you need to talk, please let us know. We foster a safe and respectful learning space, and please make sure that your cameras are off throughout the workshop. But if you want to leave it on, please be careful of any image that you might present. Please write your full name, country, and organization in the chat. And if you have any questions, please ask them on the chat or raise your hand. If you are on the Facebook Live, you can send your questions through the Facebook comment section. For translation, in the Zoom controls, click on Interpretation. Click on the language you want to hear. In this case, we only have English and Spanish. And if you want to only listen to the interpreted language, please click on Mute Original Audio. Okay, so what we're going to be talking about today, first we're going to welcome you all and talk to you a little bit about the background of the Small Grants Program. Talk about the 18th call for projects, including general information, the requirements, and how you're going to use the environmental and social management system. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the project management system so that you can submit your proposal, how you'll register, and how the screen looks like for the online platform. Some information about the proposal formats, the annexes, and how you're going to submit your proposals and the necessary documents. Today, it's going to be myself, Elisa Blanda, and Carla Saldaña, which is the technical assistance for the environmental and social management system. We want to welcome our funding members. In this case, Marfund is supported in the 4 countries by 4 different funds. In Mexico, we have Fondo Mexicano para la Conservación de la Naturaleza. And as representative, we have Cynthia Landa. We also have PACT, Protected Area Conservation Trust, and police. Robin Burns is here with us. And for Guatemala, we have Jorge Mario Solano with FCG, and for Honduras we have Maria Arteaga for Fundación Biosfera. And probably we have many other colleagues here as well. In case of any questions or any doubt regarding this grant, you can write to me to this email. So what is the Small Grants Program? So this project supports programs in the Mesoamerican Reef since 2006 in the first call. You have seen that we are in the 18th request for proposals, and from 2006 to 2024 we have approved 120 projects in the traditional window, 16 in the Reef Rescue Initiative, and since 2017 to 2023, we have approved 23 projects in the window of the Belize Marine Fund. For this window, we don't have an open call because the program has finished. All of the projects have been developed, have been in the Mesoamerican Reef, supporting directly at least 18 marine protected areas, NGOs, academic and government institutions, and different communities. So when we talk about the Small Grants Program, we follow a cycle of the project. In this phase, we are still in the call for proposals in the first part of the cycle. And then until up to around a month, we are going to have the last date for the submission of proposals in the project management system. The project management system online is a tool that we have been using since 2019 to receive and revise all of the proposals. In 2024, we updated the version in which the applicants need to register again. We're going to see ahead that if you have registered in the new version of 2024, this year you do not necessarily need to register. However, for all the participants that want to submit a proposal and haven't registered on the platform, we are going to explain how you can register in this presentation. Remember that the call is highly competitive and the available funds are limited. So we have different criteria, specific criteria for the revision of the proposals. We will not accept incomplete proposals or those who don't answer to the call. We also remind you that the evaluation of the proposals will be done in 2 or 3 phases. The first one is revision by the Marfan team, in which we will make sure that all the proposals are complete, that they do answer to the call, and we give you recommendations so that you can consider addressing them as suggestions, comments, different changes in approaches, little things to improve your proposals, so that later when your proposal reaches the external committee, the proposals are strong and you will have a good level so that the committee will be able to evaluate you. The committee is going to evaluate and recommend the different proposals that they think should be supported. Why do we say recommend? Because there are a lot of good proposals and we don't have enough funds. So they recommend and we prioritize the strongest proposals, the more interesting ones, the ones that are focused on prioritized risks or threats to an ecosystem. So those proposals are sent to the executive committee, and then there is a final selection. What happens with those proposals? We are gonna let each of you know about in the different steps of this revision, and of the proposals that were selected, we will contact you and we will elaborate the agreements and contracts, and once we have signed, we will do the initial payments. These projects are committed through an agreement and through different signed documents to present reports and their annexes and all the required information for the project, and they commit to it, carry out the project in a transparent way, in the most effective and efficient way possible. And throughout the implementation of the project, the Marfan team is going to be revising, making sure that everything is fine. And if that's the case, we make the intermediate payments and the final payments as well, accompanied with a monitoring visit, usually carried out by the Marfan team. If you have any questions while we are speaking, please let us know in the chat, and we will do some pauses to answer questions. If not, we're going to leave them until the end. Thank you very much to everyone, and welcome to this presentation. Let me see if we have any questions. Nope, we are Good. Thank you, Carla, for writing the instructions in English. If they have any questions, the colleagues from Belize, please write it on the chat so that we can follow up on them. Excellent. So we're going to continue. Where do you find the call for proposals of the small grants program? So in this moment, when we have launched the call or request for proposals, you can find the guidelines in MARFON's webpage in the first page or under programs, small grants program, call. So you're going to be able to find all the links in Spanish and all the links in English, depending on the language that you select for the platform. Okay, for this request for proposal, we have some criteria, objectives, and specific relevant dates that you have to take into consideration if you want to receive support or if you want to talk with the team. So we are always available, but as the calendar shows, and there are a lot of possible events, we ask you that you approach us with enough time and support you. So we launched the request for proposals on the 15th of July, and tomorrow, the 12th of August, we have a last date for you to arrange a call with the team of MARFON. This is just a call for orientation about an idea or solving any questions, or about the platform, or about registering it, but also about you can ask for support, to ask for support for specialized support with a fund of $1,000 where you ask for this support through email. We make an evaluation of all your requests, and depending on the number, we can have a prioritization process because, as I mentioned before, we have available funds are limited, and we will let you know or notify you if you have been selected to receive the support to prepare your proposal of the $1,000 in 1 week from the 12th to the 19th of August. So what can you use these $1,000 for? They're usually for organizations that need supports to write their proposal through an external consultant. For example, helping you write the different documents, your table budget, your development tables, help you with any meetings with the communities or with local actors that are relevant for your project. So you can read the document, complete it, and send it by email to me with all of the documents that are related. If we have any missing documents, of course, that can be one of the criteria that your request could maybe not be accepted. So if there are any documents that are missing, please justify why they are missing. So with this, we have all of the part with the support of the MARFON team. Why do we have it until the 12th of August? Because we need to revise all of the applications, and because we need to coordinate in our calendar all the calls that we need to address. So from the 12th, we need to organize all the calls so that we can give you any support that you might need. Once we will answer with a specific date when we can have this call with each of you. And for the support request, you're gonna turn it in by the 12th of August. If not, we're not going to be able to revise them, and we will approach you up to the 19th of August. However, you are always free to approach us through email for any other additional question. It's not like we are going to disappear. We are going to be around, and with pleasure, we're going to be answering all the doubts that you might have. You will also see that because of different support, because we sometimes have people that don't have a lot of experience with tools or technological tools, one of the annexes that we require for the proposal is a small video, a small presentation video of your project. So you can also address us up to the 26th of August to request a call and record this video. So we will make up this call, and while you talk about our project, we record that small video of your proposal. The limit date for submitting your proposals is the 9th of September, so you still have 1 month to be able to work in them, a little bit less. And you're going to see that the evaluation process is very extensive. So from the limit date in the 9th of September to around the end of February to notify the results around March. 1st of March is a little bit, we're going to address them in March 2026, and we expect to start the projects by May 2026. So what are we talking about when we talk about this call for proposals? There are 2 different windows. Each window has a specific, a general objective and a few specific objectives. Both have 4 specific objectives. The traditional window applies to natural protected areas prioritized by this Mesoamerican reef, especially the first 3 objectives, and the 4th it talks about F6, that talks about fish spawning aggregation sites of commercial species. That one applies to any area in the Mesoamerican reef. The proposals that last up to 17 months will have a maximum amount of $30,000, and those that are between 18 and 24 may apply to a maximum funding of $50,000. For the Reef Rescue Initiative, it applies to all the coral reefs in the Mesoamerican reefs. It does have specific objectives. In this case, for example, we are talking about restoration, support to different organizations and communities that want to carry out or do any sort of restoration or reef conservation efforts. We also try to focus a lot on the bleaching risk and the effect it's had on other possible diseases in corals. You can present proposals with up to 24 months, and you have a maximum donation limit of $30,000. Since the available funds are limited, we cannot support many proposals, and we recommend that you at least get $30,000 or $50,000 for the traditional window and a maximum of $30,000 for the Reef Rescue Initiative. So who can apply? So in this case, since we are working exclusively in the Mesoamerican reef, all the organizations must have an established base in each of the 4 countries of the Mesoamerican reef, meaning Mexico, Belize, Honduras, and Guatemala, and working possibly in the influence area of the Mesoamerican reef, and hopefully in natural protected areas, depending on the objective of the call that you are going to submit. And for more information, you can always read the guidelines, the complete guidelines in our webpage. Who can apply? Community organizations, including women-led and indigenous communities, government government institutions, NGOs. In the case of academic or individual groups, you must have an administrative support of an NGO, which is going to be in charge of the donation. And they are going to be the ones that present the proposal in their name, the one that needs to register. So this year we also, just like last year, we have some criteria or some indications about the projects that are applying. For proposals that are intending to last 2 years with a maximum of $50,000, the applicant can address $8,000 to $10,000 may be used for subsidy. For example, this fund may be used as seed funding for different women-led projects, indigenous or community projects, as long as the subsidy aligns with the objectives of the general proposal. For example, if the NGO is working with, in the subject of a proposal with other groups that can't apply to the call because they aren't registered or they don't have an open bank account, they can have this first approach to these funds so that they can start working. So what is necessary? That all the funds, and we're going to talk a little bit about this with Carla, all the funds must apply the safeguards. And all these safeguards and all the information and methodology to be implemented for selecting and aligning the subsidy and the safeguard application must be clearly expressed in the project proposal. We also have this continuity clause in which projects that have been supported by the Small Grants program, those projects that have ended in the past 3 months or are about to finish in the next 6 months, if your project is about to finish during this period of application, you can apply and you can select a button that says continuity. What does this mean? It means that you are continuing the project and you just need to adjust the information accordingly to what has changed. However, the Appendix B of due diligence, with all the documents that had updates and modifications, must be delivered, signed, and completed with all the corresponding annexes, as well as the new project development table and the budget table, and the Appendix C's that shows all the different risks that may apply to your project. This proposal will be revised like all the other proposals, and if the proposal is approved, a modification will be done to the donation agreement to be able to accelerate the donation process. This is only applicable for the projects that have finalized in a little while ago or are about to finalize. All of the annexes that you need to complete, depending of the objective that you are applying, are present in the guidelines of the proposal. So you're going to find Annex 1, which is the support to ask for help in writing your proposal, which are the $1,000 that I mentioned before. That one is also in the platform. You can download it in the platform in the case that you were to need this support funds. And there's also the online format guide, Annex 1, which is the project development table that you must download, and be careful that it is the 2025 document. We will not take documents from other years because those annexes have been modified for this call. So make sure that it's 2025. You can download and complete it. For the project development tables, we have shared some examples with indicators because one of the criteria that Marfin looks at is using indicators, key point indicators, so that you can have an effect in a long term and in the long term an impact of all the projects that we are supporting. So here are some examples that you can take a look at. We also have Appendix 3 that you can download. Appendix B with all the due diligence documents that you have to sign, complete, and upload, along with all the other documents. We still are missing some due diligence documents, but we will get them ready. And of course, the document with environmental and social safeguards to make sure that you have considered all of the risks and all the mitigation efforts of our environmental and social safeguards, exclusively for projects that are talking about fostering business plans or business projects. There is a specific format. Remember that the project development tables and the budget tables are super crucial, and make sure that you complete them and revise them and upload them to the platform online complete. Okay, we are going to look at each of the annexes so that you have an idea, at least of the applicants that still don't know us, of what we are talking about. So Appendix B, for example, is the list of documents that you require for the due diligence. So you are going to see it's a document in Word that you can complete, sign, and upload to the platform online. How are you going to upload? I'm going to show you a little bit later. But here you're going to see a number of documents, the name of the file, the description, and you're going to have to say if you have it, and you're going to share it, or you're not going to share it for some reason. If you're not going to share it because it might not apply, and you're going to justify why it doesn't apply, or you're going to share it because your organization doesn't generate a document like that. So it depends on the organization that is applying. If you do share it, if you say yes, the document that are in the page system online, on the online platform. So you're going to complete it, you're going to see all of the documents, and you're going to see the due diligence documents from the applying organization. And you're going to remember the organization that applies is the organization that administers the project. The one that receives the fund is the one that needs to present the proposal and needs to present all the due diligence documents of that organization. And all the other documents are specific of the project map, the commitment letters of collaborating entities, the document of the C appendix, the video that you're going to present for us to give more information about your project that you are going to present. And you are going to need to sign it with date and signature and upload it to the platform. Additionally, the form for sustainable businesses, that one only applies for the ones that are applying to the specific business objective in the two windows. And here I will leave Carla presenting one of the documents of the Appendix C. Carly, thank you very much, Liz. And thank you to all of you for being here with us. We are very excited about launching our proposal, our request for a proposal. And today I'm going to talk about Appendix C and talk as well about the project management system and the environmental and social management system. And I know that today we might have some people that have had an approach with these platforms, but it's always good to have a reminder and create a space so that we can complete all these tools. We want to comment that first, you just need to fill out the environmental and social management system that corresponds to Appendix C. If your proposal is approved, then you're gonna need, the organization is gonna need to complete the environmental and social management system throughout the whole implementation of the project. Here, it's important that from the beginning of the proposal, we have risk management, and if the project is approved, we're going to be following, making sure that it is being completed. Here, it's important to mention as well that as an organization, if you already have some policies or procedures for mitigating risks, and these follow the requisites from the environmental and social management system from Marvin, you can share these documents. And what we want with this is that it's not necessary to create new documents if the organization already has these documents that talk about risk mitigation and management. What we are focusing on with this management system is knowing and learning how you are managing the risks of the activities associated with your project. And if you have any other questions about our environmental and social management system, you're going to find all the information in our webpage, both in Spanish and in English. And if there are any specific questions about Appendix C, you can also communicate with Elisa or myself in the emails that you see on the screen. So you might be familiar with environmental and social management system, but for all of you that don't know, we want to tell you that as Marvin, we established this system from 2022, and we apply it to all the projects and all the activities that we fund. These risk management systems, or these standards or safeguards, has been existing for many, many years. We are talking close to the 80s. And the main objective of these systems, in particular of the system that we use, is to make sure that all of the projects, that all the initiatives that we finance and we fund have a net positive benefit to the environment and the communities in the MAR region. And this we reach by avoiding, minimizing, and mitigating the risks and social and environmental impacts. And it operates on a principle of do no harm and do good. But here, what we aim is we want to go further than that. Go further than doing good is potentializing the actions and the effect of the actions that we do through a proper risk management system. And so here, probably you have many questions like, how do you know if the benefit of our project, if we know that our objective is to conserve and we want a general positive impact, but we don't have to forget that from any activity that we do or that we plan to do, there are risks, there are potential risks, potential impacts that we might avoid if we, from the beginning, from exactly the point where you are now in planning your proposal, you start thinking about how you're going to mitigate these risks and address them from the beginning. So why do we call it a system? Because basically it's not only a document that is like a manual that's going to tell you what to do, but it's a whole system that is going to give you steps on how you can implement this in your own projects and in our own actions that we are implementing or that we are planning to implement. Our system is based on reference guidelines and some tools. in the reference frame, we have all the context about what the safeguards are, how our system works, and how you apply it. And through this, you have all the political, environmental, and social policies of MARFund, how our safeguards align to the mission and the vision of MARFund, and why we have this whole management system, and what we hope to gain from it, and what is the main objective of this system. We also have a summary of the national legislation, because it's very important to mention that all of our system is operating by the local and regional laws in each of the countries of the Mesoamerican Reef. So here we have a small summary of all the laws that might apply in all 4 countries. We have an exclusion list, and I invite you to revise this one, because this one is basically just telling you about all the activities that MARFund will not finance. Meaning that if you have any activity that you're planning and you see it on this list, you will identify if you need to modify it, because if you want to do some of these actions that are on this list, the project will not receive funding. And we have the 10 safeguards, environmental and social safeguards. On the other hand, we have the tools, because yes, we do have a very wide concept. Applying this practically, it's very hard to apply it if we don't have tools that are going to help us manage these environmental and social management. We have first the Appendix C. This is the questionnaire of environmental and social evaluation, which is going to help us to identify all the risks that may come from the activities that we have planned. We also have other tools, other management tools that are going to allow us to identify which ones are the mitigation actions that you can have, and are going to help us carry out all our activities and help us mitigate the risks that might arise. And we also have a complaints and suggestions mechanism platform. Okay, so to talk about the safeguards, we have 10 safeguards in total. These align with the safeguards from other organizations that work parallel with us. So you're going to see that there are a lot of places where these safeguards match other institutions. So we have 4 that have a darker purple. This means that these safeguards apply for all of the projects, independent of the activities that they are going to carry out. And the ones that you see in a lighter purple, like a blue lighter purple, those activities will only detonate depending on the activities that you're going to carry out throughout your project. So for safeguard number 1 is the evaluation of the environmental and social risks. This is the one that sustains all the others, and it's going to give us the instructions on how to implement the system and how to implement the safeguards. Here you can have instructions on how to fill out the environmental and social questionnaire. Safeguard number 2 is about working conditions. Here it's very important that it's very important for MARFund that all the minimum working conditions are met regarding each of the country's laws. Then the other safeguards will detonate according to the activities that you're going to be carrying out. For example, the number 3, if you're going to be establishing any sort of infrastructure. Number 4, if you're going to be working amongst communities, within the communities, or with children, we're going to activate the safeguard. 5 talks about the access to resources. For example, if we are planning a new fishing management areas that is going to limit the access of people to these areas, so we're going to activate this one. The next one is about biodiversity and conservation. If we're planning restoration activities or monitoring activities, or any activities that will have the risk of introducing exotic species, we're going to activate this one. For example, safeguard number 7 talks about indigenous communities and traditional groups. So if you're going to be working in the presence of these communities or these traditional groups, or if we have any activity with them, so this is when this safeguard would activate. Number 8 is cultural patrimony. If we are going to be working in areas where we know that there's cultural patrimony, or if there's any risk that we are going to interfere or be having anything to do with cultural patrimony. And then safeguard 9 and 10 are the ones that apply to all of the projects. Number 9, which is gender. This one, it's important that all the projects have a gender perspective and they have an action plan for gender perspective, and which activities you're going to be carrying out to make sure that this project falls under an equity and equality. And number 10 is about the primary actor involvement, the information release and participation, and how you're going to socialize all the information with the communities and the key stakeholders of your project. And then what are we going to do? So now that we have a little bit of context of the safeguards, first it's important to identify the necessary activities that you need to perform to achieve your project's objectives. This is, of course, needs to be hand in hand with the project development table and the budget table, because these are the activities that, this will define the activities that will be partially or completely funded by MARFund. Then we are gonna make sure that these activities are not in the exclusion list, and then with all of these activities in mind, we are gonna fill out our environmental and social questionnaire that are all very specific questions that we are going to be answering about the activities to fill out. So to look a little bit about how our questionnaire is divided, first you're going to have an introductory page where you're going to have all the information on the safeguards, on how to complete this document. And in the second sheet, you're going to see the actual questions that you're going to be needing to answer. So on the next slide, you're going to be able to see a little bit better the questionnaire. This is what you're going to see. So here it's not really showing much. It's a questionnaire of about 96 questions. But I just wanted to show you the parts and how it's divided. And first we're going to have where we fill out all the information, the date, the program you're applying to, whoever is applying, where you will write whoever is signing up to apply. And then we have the questionnaire on itself. First column is just the number of the question. Column B is the question itself. And then we're going to see different blocks. This one, for example, is talking about safeguard number 1. So we're going to read with a lot of attention each one of the questions. And as you can see, they are closed questions. You can answer yes or you can answer no in column D, according to the activities that you want to implement on your project. And then you're going to see another column E, where there are actions that you should need to implement in case that the project is accepted. It's important that this is clarified, because this is gonna show us that we need to do certain specific actions. But this is important to mention that you will only need to perform the activities in column E if the project is approved. In this first stage of applying, you will only fill out the questionnaire yes and no based on the activities that you are proposing in your project, answering each one of these questions. And then you can see that in the end, in the space of answering your questions, you can see that some turn red. You have to check that this might be detonating activities with a higher risk, and this might increase the risk categories of our project. And I'm going to explain a little bit later what this means. So you're going to see that the category in column F is going to be changing the risk category of each of the projects. So we have B's, we have C's, and And depending on each of the question, we're going to be able to establish if a project is a high or low risk. And this is very, very important. It's important to tell you that we are not looking for projects that don't have a single risk. We know that there's always associated risks, but the importance is that you answer honestly with basing on the activities that you're going to plan to carry out. And if you have, as an organization, already a plan to mitigate these risks that might be activated, you can add it in the comment section, which is column R. For example, like our organization already has a gender equality policy, or any other thing that might help you explain your plan to mitigate risks. And then the next one is the risks. We have 4 categories: C, B, B+, A+. C is the low risk projects. These are proposals that don't really have field activities, that are mostly virtual workshops or meetings. Most projects will fall under the B category, which are the moderate risks, which are those that have some risks that are very specific to each site and that you can address or mitigate very easily with the appropriate measures. Then we have B plus category, which is like a subcategory of B, which is projects that have only one activity that has a high potential risks that might be irreversible. And then there's category A that has high significant risk. And here we want to mention that with our list, that from our exclusion list, whatever project that falls under the A category, we will not be financing. So as I showed in the previous slide, you can see that the risk category is changing: C, B, B+. And so depending on the answers that you tell us, the project is going to have a provisional risk category. So this provisional category is it's going to be filled out in Appendix C. And if we have all C, if your project is C, if your project has at least one B, the project is B. If it has at least one B+, the project is B+, and if it has at least one A, the project will be A. So this is just provisional, and while we revise the documents, this can change and can be adapted. If you have any doubt or any question, you will let us know, and we will revise all these specific cases. And I think that's it from me, and I am always ready if you have any questions, and I'll be in the chat answering any more questions. Thank you very much, Carla. I think we can see if we have any questions or any raised hands, because yes, we've shared a lot of information. Let me see. I don't think we have any questions. Take advantage of this space to make questions, and we always let you know that this workshop is being recorded, and you're gonna find you can find the recording in the Facebook page from Marfund, as well as in our support page of the 18th call for proposals. So if we don't have any questions, we can continue, and we're going to leave the questions for the end. Okay, super, excellent. So we already saw about the guidelines. So we always recommend that you very, very attentively read all the guidelines, especially if your organization may apply, if your working areas where you're going to implement the project applies, and to which window you want to apply, and to which objectives of the call that you want to, so that you can know which documents you're going to need to present, and so you can have all the information with time so that your proposal is completed before the deadline. So if you know that you have until the 9th of September to submit your proposals, because after the 9th, the team is going to start the revision. So as I mentioned before, all of the proposals must be submitted in the project management system from the Small Grants Program. Be careful. In Marfin, we have different platforms for submitting different proposals. So make sure that you are selecting the one for Small Grants Program. So what do you need to do? If your organization has registered the year before, you're going to be able to see in the web page that we already have your information, that we have your emails, and you're going to be able to enter directly on the web page so that you can submit a new proposal. In the case that before there was another person in charge of writing the proposals and this person is no longer in the organization, please write to us with time so that we can change the email addresses and change the person and the contact information of the organization. If you already have the password, you can go in, you can write a new proposal, and you can start working on it. In the case that your organization has not registered in the last year, that you're going to need to register it. And it's very important for this registration that you register your email in the correct way. Make sure that your email is written down correctly, because or else the system will not register it and we are not going to have your full registration. So what are you going to do? You're going to choose the format in the language that you want, and then you're going to write all the information of the organization that is applying. Remember, the organization that is applying is the one that is going to be managing the funds. If you want to present both, you can put the information of the main administrative organization / next to it, you can be writing the name of the organization that's implementing if you want to have both of the names. Please don't register two organizations, register it as one, indicating that in the text that you're going to be having two organizations. So how do you register? There is a welcome screen, and then there's an email with access credentials. And if your registration was done completely and successful, you are going to redirect it to a welcome page. And you're going to receive an email with your access credentials. So your username and your password. With that information, you're able to access to the project management system for the Small Grants Program. And with your username and password, you're going to be able to enter to the main screen. Okay, so this is the main screen from the project management system. Here you're going to have the main menu, in which when you click, you're going to be able to see projects with organizations and projects. You're going to be able to see your organization, the information about your organization, and the project that this organization has submitted. And below, you're going to have the space for documents, where you will be able to upload all of the documents, all the required documents, so that your proposal is complete. In the organization page, you should be seeing the name of your organization and all the detailed information. Also, in the main page, you're going to have a space where you have the user manual with tutorial video, information, frequently asked question about the current call for proposals. You're also going to find my preferences, in which you're going to be able to include information, detailed information about your name, the language that you're going to use, if you have the way you want to see the information on the currency. You can add images of your organization logo or any pictures so that you can locate the main contact from this. And in the last one, in the top right, in the top right corner, you're gonna see the Leave the Platform button. In the organization module, you're gonna have again your information. You're gonna have a summary of all the information, where you will very likely find the last information that you shared, the email, the main contact information, your name. And in part 2, you're going to have some details that they're all necessary to add, that you can edit in case there's a mistake, or if you need to add or modify any important information. In the updates section, you're going to find all of the updates that you have done lately. So, for example, if the 11th of August, in this case, Fundación Corales Mexicanas changed the logo. So that will appear in this tab, or they added a document or received an email. So all of the updates are going to fall under this section, and you're going to be able to see that all of the changes that you have done are actually visible in the platform. Space number 4 is the emails. In the platform, you're going to be able to receive the emails as well as in your normal email platforms that you use to sign up for this. So for example, all the emails that we sent you that you got through your Gmail account, you're going to be able to find them on this platform as well. Something important, because sometimes it happens that you're not receiving the emails on your Google Gmail platforms or your Outlook platforms. Maybe you are not receiving them, but you see them on the platform. So because it's an automatic email, sometimes these emails go to the spam trail. So please make sure that you check these trays so that these emails are not getting to your spam, making sure that we're all communicating properly. Point number 5 is about documents. Here, usually under organizations, we have documents about the organization that's applying. For example, their statutes, their legal registry documents, because these very rarely change. They usually stay like this for a long time, and you don't need to change them frequently. So these are the documents that go here, and we're gonna explain where you add the other documents regarding the proposal in another place. Number 6, where you can see this little briefcase, you're gonna see the amount of proposals that this organization has written. And in number 7, it's just different. It's a way of communicating with the organization through the platform. And so that if you have any question or you don't want to talk through email, this is the way where you can contact us. Okay, so what do you need to do to present a proposal? If you have registered and you completed your organization information, you're gonna include one project. So we're gonna click on the brief. If you register for the first time, you're not gonna have any project associated, but if you had registered before, you're gonna have the number of proposals that you have presented before. So we click on the briefcase and we add a project. We add a new project. We click on here and we are gonna see that you are presented a new online proposal format online. So you can do two things. You can write your proposal in your computer following the Word format proposal. And when you have advanced a little bit, you can go to the online form and you can start copying and pasting from the Word. Or you can, from scratch, start adding the information directly in your proposal. At the time of your registration, you're gonna have to add these specific things. Once you add these three things, you're gonna be able to leave and come back without any problem. What do we need from you so that you can register successfully and you can start writing your proposal? You're gonna need to select which financial window you're gonna want to apply so that we know if you're applying to the traditional window or to the Reef Rescue Initiative. You can add a name to your project, even if it's just a temporary name, and you're gonna need to confirm and validate that in point number 3 in the applicant organization, if you see your organization. If you don't see your organization, when you add a proposal, it's gonna enter the system, but it's like orphan without an organization, and this way makes it very difficult for us to find it later, or for us to even know who is applying, who's writing the proposal. So you can save this and you can modify it or update it later. So it's very important to save, because there can happen an earthquake or the light might come off or anything can happen, and it's always very important to save, because if we leave, if we have a call, if we run out of internet and you haven't saved, you're going to lose the information. So always make sure to save. Go moving along, but also every once in a while remember to save. Or even closer in time if you know that the internet is not very stable wherever you are. So what else? Remember as well that you can edit the proposal whenever you want. So you logged off, you're going to continue working the next day. What are you going to do? You're going to enter the platform with the same link, with your password and username that we have given you, and you can edit your proposal in any time your proposal. You edit, you save, and then you can come back to the proposal as many times as you need. Important recommendations, for example, the passwords, since they're automatic, we suggest that you change it the first time that you use it and write your own password so that you can access at any point. However, the system also has a way of helping you in case you forgot your password. If you can recover it as long as you have your email. Remember as well that you can save as many times you want until until we close the call for proposals. After we close, you can't edit and you can't continue working on your proposal, and you might have lost the opportunity. So please, a few days before the closure of the call for projects, make sure that you have uploaded all the documents, that you do it before time, because there's always things that happen and we don't want to lose that opportunity to apply. We can have like a hurricane or a storm that might difficult the process of finishing the proposal. So always give yourselves some extra time. So we have the online proposal part, and we know that this proposal is not complete without its documents. So the documents, which ones are they? So first, we need a project development table, the budget table of the project, Appendix B, signed and completed, Appendix C, and all the information and all the 90 questions of the safeguards. So you do need time. You need time to complete all of these documents and all of the due diligence appendix that are required. All of these annexes are going to need to have the names and the indications as the appendix says it. So you're going to upload, and this is how I'm going to show you later how you can upload it. And you can delete or modify documents in case you made a mistake. So always when you upload, download that document and make sure that it was the correct document that you wanted to upload, and if it was the last version of that document. If it's not complete or if it's not the last version, well, then maybe you won't be able to pass the first filter. So in case you have a very large document, for example, the video that you have made for your proposal, or like a memory with a lot of information, you can share it in the shape of a link. So you can share the document that includes a link, or you can directly share the link. And how are we going to do this? We're going to go to project. So we're in your project where you can modify your proposal, and you're going to look for the section of documents. So here you're going to have the little numbers of all the documents that you have uploaded to the moment. So we're going to go to my project. Well, first we're in our organization. Then from the organization we go to the project. From the project we go into documents. And in documents we're going to select new document. We're going to click on plus document. We're going to click there with the mouse, and we are going to select repository of the Small Grants Program. So if it's just one document like a PDF or a Word document, you're going to select this top one. If you're going to add a link, you are just going to check this one that says URL or link. So if we selected a document, what can we do? We can drag it and let it go in this area, or select from a file in your computer. You can add a name. Please add the name that we indicate, for example, the project development table, organization, and the date, so that it's as clear as possible. And you can leave it in the default folder, or you can select a specific folder for the call of the 2025. And if you need, you can add an annotation of any kind. So you can drag it, or you can select the file, you can change the name, and add the folder at which you want to upload it. Once you upload it, you're going to see the list of documents that you have uploaded, and you can see the number go up. So you have uploaded all of your documents and your proposal is ready. What do we need to do? We need to send our proposal. So remember that you need to save, and once you have finished all of the information and your proposal is complete, you are going to be able to send it. Okay, so in the online format for proposals, you're going to select Send Proposal. Once you save, the proposal will be sent to Marfa, and you will get an email notifying that your proposal is in revision, meaning that you will not be able to modify it because we are already revising it. So if you made a mistake, please let us know, or else we will assume that your proposal is ready. So proposals that are sent even 1 minute after midnight of the deadline and the dateline, we will not accept a proposal, because we need to be very strict with this, because we have many proposals. So we have specific criteria that will allow us to not choose a proposal. And you need to send your proposal in the specified dates that are specified in the guidelines. So to present your proposals, I think that's all of it. We know that there's a revision process, and you are going to be receiving emails and notifications to modify your proposals. So in modification, why? Because we want to make sure that all the projects that we received, that they are complete, that they all have the same opportunity to be evaluated by the evaluation committee. So the committee is expert in the subjects of the proposal, and they work directly in the region. So we want to make sure that they read good, complete proposals, and that they receive program projects that are under context and that are relevant, and they are logic, and that they are understandable. So possibly when we ask you to modify, it's not because we are very strict or that we want you to work double. It's just so that you have a good context of your proposal and that it can fit properly in the guidelines of the proposal. And fit in as well with the objectives that you selected. So you're gonna receive a notification. This notification is gonna be through email and through the platform, and you're gonna be able to receive these notifications in the comment sections in the proposal. So you're gonna see a comment from me or from another member or from Carla, where you'll be able to see the suggested changes. It can be a change directly on the platform, on the proposal format, or it can be in the annexes. So we will upload documents in these comment sections where you can download it, open and check the changes or observations that we made in each of the documents. It might be only one document, it might be all the documents. Just consider that it's not something bad. If we have comments and suggestions in any of the documents, it's because we maybe didn't understand, or it needs some clarification, or we have some questions, or we have doubts about specific safeguards. Everybody can get confused, and our job is precisely to understand your idea and make it as presentable to the committee. So here we also indicate a final date in which you can submit your updated and corrected documents. If you're not interested in completing the proposal. If you don't say anything or if you don't do it by the deadline, we're just going to assume that there's no interest to continue. So we are going to do this notification. We might write a specific email asking you if you had time to revise the documents, if you have interest to continue. We try to stay very close to the applicants that are writing. And you're going to download the files, revise them, and upload them again. The modifications for the proposal, you're going to do this in the online platform. You're going to click on the edit button so that you can work on your proposal. And all of the documents that you modify, upload them with the original name and with the word upgraded and the date of updating. Okay? And you are going to be able to see all of the documents that you have worked on. And when you have finished your revision, your final last revision, you can upload again, submit your proposal, and send it so that the Marvin team can receive it and send it to the different evaluation phases that we talked about before. Remember to do it before the deadline, because if anything happens, if there's any reason why you didn't make it, please write an email and we're going to check if it's possible to receive your submission after the deadline. Finally, the support page that you're going to find on the platform, you're going to find a space of help and support. What are you going to find? You're going to find frequently asked questions. You're going to find a manual, a user manual for the project management system. You're going to find different video tutorials or other videos and other workshops that we have carried out with indications on how to apply for the proposals. And in the case of the people that are following us that speak in English, we have a first draft of the manual for the platform online that we can share with you through email. So you can write to us requesting this document while we upload it to the platform. So with this, it's all from me. I'm going to see if there are any questions. Or you can write it on the chat, or you can write emails to me or to the Marvin team so that we can answer your questions. Any questions that you might have while you make your proposals. So thank you very much, and we are here for you. Thank you very much, Elisa. We do have some questions on the chat. So we have the first one from Brenda. Brenda's asking, I want to ask about the viability of the subject that we chose for our project. We are talking about rainwater collection systems in a specific area where 19 communities don't have access to water. So that is why the rainwater is an option for them, which they do capture, but we know that there is a better management system, and we know that with this project we can help at least one of the communities that are under these conditions. Okay, so Brenda, I think you already wrote to us to have a call about this, and that is the most important. If you want to talk to us a little bit more about your projects, you have those two options. You might have a call directly with us, or the option of asking for support to ask for an expert to help you with writing the proposal. So I think yes, it's a very viable subject, Brenda. It's important how you're gonna put it on paper, because we need to consider all the context, all the general context, so that when the committee reads it, even though they work in the region and they know about the necessities, so that they have all of the thread, all of the story, and they can understand the impact and the result that this project could have on these communities. So I think yes, I think the subject on resilience is the widest subject that covers almost anything in the call, and community resilience and support for communities for access to resources, or more future, because without water there's poverty, there's disease, there's difficulties, there's little resources, there's little income, because you can't really do much without water. So I think that subject, that objective is, yes, we can schedule a call and then maybe deepen a little bit on the subject and give it a little bit more indication on how to deal with it. So yeah, I think the subject is very current and very relevant. And we have a question from Angel. He is asking, if we didn't register last year, but we did register in 2023, we must register again? Yes, thank you, Carla. Yes, Angel. Yes, please register. If you registered in 2023, you are not on the list that we have on the webpage right now. So we don't have your organization in the online format. So if your name is not there, so please register. It's necessary because since we upgraded the platform, not all of the registries done before are in the new platform. So it's better to register again in case you registered from 2023, 2022, 2020, 2019. Ready. Thank you, Elisa. I also left the link for registration so that you can carry out your registration if you haven't done so already. And we have a question from Rotan Marine Park. Which must be the last year of auditing of my organization to be eligible for the program? That is an excellent question. We don't really have a date of auditing. The importance is that if you have had an auditing process, please add that last document. So if your organization or your project has been audited, please share the last one, the most current one. So if it was audited in 2005, if that one was the last one, that's fine. If it was audited in 2022, share that one. That one is also important. You don't need to have an auditing process, a recent auditing process from 2023 or 2024 to be able to apply. As long as you share this document, because we have other documents that is the financial situation of the organization, and that is a current document that is going to give us a better idea of that missing information. So the auditing is important, but it's not a requirement. It's not mandatory. It does help us to understand your organization, but it can be any auditing process that you've had in the years. So you can share that document. And if you don't have it, you can clarify where you say this organization has never been audited. It is not a requirement for the country. It's not something that we do as like that's a very Guatemalan word, like a routine. It's not something that we do routinely, so you can just leave that observation on the document. Thank you. Thank you very much, Elisa. We have one question from Ariel. He says, one organization may apply with two proposals with two different organizations in two different protected areas. Oh, okay. So one NGO may apply with two proposals. So the first question, yes. Yes, you can apply with two different proposals. However, those two proposals are going to go to the committee, and they are going to be competing with each other. So it might be counterproductive for you to apply with two proposals. I know that the funding is limited, and it might be a strategy that you might use. We don't have a limitation in the number of proposals or the number of proposals in different areas or with different purposes or objectives or different financial windows. So it can be in two different protected areas. So yes, you can. You can support two different communities or two different organizations or two natural protected areas. So yes, they're going to compete, compete between each other's, but yes, you can do it. Or you can present one proposal that includes two different areas or two communities. And here, well, you know that the funding is limited because you're going to have to divide it between two. So it can be that one organization can get two fundings. It's not likely, but if all the other proposals don't fulfill the requirements, and if they don't have the same value and criterias and the impact, well, it might be that one organization can get two. But yes, it can happen. Thank you, Elisa. So we have another one, and we have another one that links with this one on Facebook. So it says, can my organization apply for Window 1, the traditional, and Window 2, the Reef Rescue Initiative? And yes, you as an organization can apply to one window or two windows. The importance is that each proposal addresses the objectives of each of the two windows. And you can apply 2 or 3 proposals in one window and 2 or 3 in the other window. But as I mentioned, better just write 1 or 2 that are very, very good so that you have higher chances of being chosen. If we have little funding and we have a lot of organizations, here we have 31 participants. So, and usually we have more than 30 proposals to evaluate. So we only have funding for a few. For example, for the Reef Rescue Initiative, we have an average of about 2 or 3 organizations per year. And for the traditional window, an average, we've supported 5 or 6 projects. So yes, there is a lot of competition. Yes, definitely. Thank you, Elisa. And we have a question that reached us through Facebook from Silvicultores. They're asking, in the north of Quintana Roo, which areas can participate? We are a community that is working in a specific area of forest and mangrove that we're destining for conservation that are close to the influential area of the Chacmuchuc Lagoon area that are also part of the biosphere of the Caribbean. Thank you. I think this is the last question that we're going to address. With pleasure, for Quintana Roo North, we only have the area of Yumbalam, but we would need to check on the guidelines because this influence area of the lagoon Chacmuchuk in the Caribbean biosphere, we don't have it as an area, as a natural protected area. So we don't have it as an eligible area. So I think we would need to discuss. It would be a little bit difficult, but we can, if you can share your more information, and we can revise about the location of the system, and we can help you. If you can add your email, or you can directly send an email to us, to Iblanda at marfan.org. And here we are to support you. Thank you very much. So the videos of the projects, when do they need to be done? Do we all need to do it? So this is just a suggestion because the committee really wants to see these videos. It's an opportunity not only to just see some words written down, but to have a little bit of a closer approach with the people that are doing the proposal. So it is recommended, it is not mandatory, and it's one of the documents that you can present before the date. And you can share it along with all the other documents as an annex in the proposal. And if you need support for being able to record it, then we have until the 26th of August to, 26th of August, you can write to us and we can establish a call so that you can record your video. If not, you can upload it on the 8th or on the 9th of September in the morning so that it's all uploaded in the required time. Oh yes, thank you very much. These are the important dates, and this is where we will leave you. Thank all of you for being here. We are very happy that we have new faces, new organizations, and organizations that we already know and that have applied before. So fingers crossed, and we are here for you to give you any help or to solve any other question or any other information or support to register and write your proposals. So thank you very much. We wish you a very good day and a very nice week. Thank you very much. Excellent. Thank you all. Bye.